Donald Trump has done what no US president before him has. He's targeted every founding member of BRICS with steep tariffs. Brazil, South Africa, India, Russia and China. All five face US trade penalties. BRICS leaders are coordinating a pushback, with Brazil's Lula da Silva even calling Prime Minister Modi to discuss a joint response. The founding members of BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, represent over 40% of the world's population and about a quarter of global GDP. Trump has now hit them all. Brazil faces 50% tariffs on steel, aluminium and agricultural exports to the United States. Russia, comprehensive trade ban since 2022, now expanded to new sectors. India, 50% tariffs on a wide range of goods, citing Russian oil purchases. China faces threats of 100% secondary tariffs over its oil trade with Russia. And South Africa, tariff hikes on metals and chemicals, accusing Pretoria of arming Putin's war machine. For the United States, the message is unity through punishment. For BRICS, it's unity through resistance. Amid the escalating tensions, Brazilian President Lula spoke directly to Prime Minister Modi this week. The readout from Brazil said that the two leaders discussed coordinated BRICS responses to unilateral trade measures. India hasn't released details, but officials confirmed the call, also touched on currency cooperation and alternative payment systems to bypass the US dollar. Lula, a founding architect of BRICS, has been pushing for the Bloc to become a counterweight to the G7 and sees Trump's tariffs as an opportunity to deepen solidarity. One of the biggest tools in the BRICS counter-strategy is currency diversification. At last year's summit, members agreed to increase trade in local currencies and reduce reliance on the US dollar in cross-border settlements. Russia already sells oil to India in rupees. China and Brazil have a yuan real clearing arrangement. South Africa is piloting rand-based trade with neighboring countries. Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs are now accelerating these experiments, pushing BRICS to insulate themselves from US's financial leverage. China remains the largest economy in BRICS and Washington's main target. Trump has threatened 100% secondary tariffs if Beijing does not scale back oil imports from Russia. But China's trade with Moscow has hit record high, over $240 billion in 2024, making compliance unlikely. For India and Brazil, this creates an awkward balance. Both compete with China for export markets, but also need Beijing inside BRICS to counter US dominance. For Russia, US tariffs are nothing new. It's been under heavy sanctions since the Ukraine invasion, but BRICS gives Moscow a diplomatic lifeline. Putin has openly called for using BRICS to dismantle the Western monopoly on global economy. Russian officials are lobbying for an internal BRICS payments platform, one that is immune to swift sanctions. South Africa has faced repeated US allegations of supplying arms to Russia, charges it denies. The latest American tariffs on metals and chemicals are seen in Pretoria as political punishment. South Africa's government has said it will not be coerced into abandoning its non-aligned stance. BRICS remains a loose grouping with diverse interests. India and China are locked in a border standoff. Brazil and South Africa rely heavily on Western export markets. But Trump's tariffs may be creating a rare common cause. Trade ministers from all five are expected to meet in Moscow next month to discuss collective action, including WTO challenges, counter tariffs, and expanded currency swap lines. The US says its aim is to pressure Russia by isolating its friends. But by targeting all BRICS founders, Washington may be encouraging them to act like a real economic bloc rather than just a diplomatic club. The danger for the United States is that this crisis becomes the catalyst for BRICS to fast-track alternative payment systems, deepen intra-bloc trade, and even expand membership further into the global south.